How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And I want to remind you guys, the private group is live and we are growing. If you want to be a part of a community of traders and other investors with the same goals as you as far as making money in the stock market, then this group is for you. You can find the link inside the description. We'll be happy to have you a part of the family. So what we're going to be talking about today, wait a second, I almost forgot. You know what time it is. It is time for the joke of the day. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we do this 5 days out of the work week. Maybe you had maybe you had a stressful day, or maybe it was the market conditions while you came to watch this video, plus hear one of my corny jokes. Here it comes. So here it comes. Why did the golfer bring 2 pairs of pants? Just in case he got a hole in one. Not too bad. But anyways, what we're going to be talking about today is OCGN. Of course, there's a lot of volatility inside of the market, but there's some updates I want you guys to hear. So before we get started, we have to go over the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I also want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're considering to take a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to be going over is 2 important updates you guys need to know about Covaxin, and I know you're going to want to hear this because it's really good news. Then we're going to be doing the technical analysis, taking a look at the overall price action. We want to see if the stock decides to pull back even further, where can it go? Many people ask me that question. So how much should I pay for OCGN stock? Or when should I sell? Like, so many questions coming through, and I feel if you watch the technical analysis, it will give you a great strategy that works best for you. And then we're going to be taking a look at the short interest information. We want to know, are the short sellers still vested in this play? And the reason why we want to know this, because this is going to have an impact on the overall price action that you see inside the stock market. Another thing also to understand why we take a look at the short interest, we are going into the long weekend, so if there are further pullbacks, we want to make sure we're prepared and we're not surprised. And then when all of that is done, I'll be giving you guys my final thoughts and as well as some more details. So the first update I want to go over with you guys, yes, we got a message back from WHO saying, you know what, expect to hear about the approval for the EUL in the second week of August. I know what you're saying. Hold on a second. Like, Dre, that is a long time from now. And yes, I do agree, but you need to understand this. This does fit the timeline that was given. They said, you know what, the latest you'll hear something is by September. So the fact that we're going to hear something in the second week of August is actually a really good thing. They're actually making sure it is before the deadline that they gave us of September. So what's going to be happening with the overall stock in regards to ocugen? There's going to continue to be more volatility. Are we going to get more news, more updates? What we do know as far as in July, we're going to be getting those final studies, right? As far as for those trials. So that could potentially have an impact on the stock, and I want to make sure you're prepared for that. Another thing to also understand, we are getting all these updates that are coming through. Are you going to be able to weather the storm when it gets really volatile? Are you going to continue to have high conviction? I ask these questions because I feel it's going to be very key, and there's going to be a lot of fluctuations in the overall price. So if you're trying to look out for an opportunity, it may present itself throughout this period, especially from when we get the news in July, and as well as getting the update from WHO with the approval as far as in the second week of August. And now for the second update in regards to Covaxin, there's a recent study that came out showing its strength and effectiveness against the Alpha and as well as the Delta variants. But we already knew this on the channel. Covaxin is a competitive drug and we need it to fight the pandemic. We've already seen as far as for the mRNA vaccines, they haven't been matching up as well. So taking this into consideration, the demand is out there for Covaxin, and it's part of the reasons why I feel as far as for WHO, they're going to be able to get that approval. And of course, over time, we'll work towards getting that FDA approval. So now let's get into the technical analysis as well as the short interest, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts. So we're going to be doing our technical analysis for OCGN. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $7.83, being down 2.49%. On the low, it tested $7.57. Then on the high, testing $8.02. So right away, the chart that we're using is the 1-year daily chart, and we want to see how it lines up with our indicators. As we take a look below at the RSI, it is right around 48. So it's right in the middle. It is not deep in the oversold territory, but it's also not in the overbought territory either. When we take a look at the 200-day, of course, we're showing strength above it. We are below the 21-day EMA, and we're also below the 100-day. So from what I'm seeing, we already know it's going to be a volatile week. I've spoken about this already going into the long weekend, that OCGN is going to be exposed to a lot of selling pressure. So when we take a look at areas of support we've talked about in the past, what we do know, to remind anyone that might be new to this channel, is we have to know about this area at $6. We also know about this area right here around $6.50. We also know about the area at $7, and we also know about the area around the $7.40 area. You can see here we tested $7.57. So if it gets down to around this $7.40 area, if it does break through it, then we want to see that $7 area actually hold up. As far as what we need to look for in regards to resistance, we definitely do have to look out for this $8 level. Now that we are below it, it's now going to become a challenge. It's going to be a psychological area, but we do know when we pass that $8 level, we can look forward to seeing some strong movements. But of course, we have to make sure the demand and the volume is there as well. This is why this play is heavily dependent on speculation, certain catalysts to come through. So as far as for tomorrow, if it decides to pull back, yes, look out for that $7 area if $7.50 area ends up breaking. But do keep in mind, if you believe in the long-term prospects and you feel that OCGN can get this deal done, this pullback presents a great opportunity to take advantage of lower prices where you can bring down your cost basis or start a position if you are interested. So we're going to take a look at the short interest information for OCGN. So we can see the short volume ratio is at 31%. And this is taken the close from June the 30th. What does this look like? Out of 23.3 million shares that were traded, 7.1 million of these shares were actually sold short. As we scroll down on the page, the short shares availability is at 150,000, and the short borrow free rate is at 21.92%. So that is fairly significant there. Taking a look at the history of the short volume ratio, OCGN looks to be getting comfortable in this 30 range. If we go back as far as June the 17th is concerned, these are the only two occasions, the 29th and the 30th, when the short volume ratio has been this high. So what does this mean? Look forward to seeing some more volatility in this stock. But if we have certain catalysts that come through or certain news updates, of course we can see some strong moves in price action. So for my final thoughts for OCGN, if you've been looking for a pullback, there's definitely some opportunities that are being presented to you. So if you want to get a position, keep it on your watch list. We talked about those areas of where it can pull back to in regards to support. If you have high conviction and you have a higher cost average, then of course you're going to use the strategy of averaging down. But I do feel you need to have some patience here. As far as catalysts and updates that we're getting, it is great that, you should hear something by the second week of August. I think that is very key. And also getting the update in regards to Covaxin, showing high effectiveness in regards to the Delta Plus and as well as the Alpha variants is huge, because as we see with the mRNA vaccines, they're not even coming that close. So one thing I want you guys to understand, there are many inside of the market, especially you see the short sellers that want to bring the stock price down. So hey, let them do that, because we already know when certain catalysts come through, as far as you see in July, and as far as August is concerned, as far as whose decision, I feel it's going to have an impact on the ocugen stock, and we could definitely have the opportunity to ride some momentum there. But this is part of the reasons why you want to have a dollar cost averaging approach. Just don't go in with one lump sum here. You want to have a strategy. Also, going in towards the end of the week, and of course we do have the long weekend, you're going to see less volume. You're going to see more volatility. You're going to see some pullbacks, but that's okay. Short sellers want to double down because they know, hey, there's not as much trading going on. There's not as much buying right now. And many people are going to sell because they don't want to hold over the long weekend. And that makes a lot of sense. But we look at that as not as a bad thing. Like I said, we look at this as an opportunity. So if you believe in ocugen and you feel that, Covaxin is a great drug and you want to see it on the global stage, and when it's on the global stage, it's going to be competitive and we're going to be needing it in order to fight the pandemic, then make sure you consider taking a position. But do keep in mind, know those areas of where it can pull back to and have a strategy and formulate a game plan. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.